as we wait for the lady of the moment, Miss Mdyesha. Just a brief background. You understand me? She's actually one of my friends, you understand me? Working together at events of the East London Tens. But you'll hear more about that as soon as she joins us. A true ambassador of women power, a true ambassador of Womonja, you understand me? Because I remember what's my mom watched Cube, it's like, Nyona, Ebomini, Shonipa, Abafozi, my bro. You understand me? So I'm like, what? Shonipa, Abafozi, my bro. Bro, there she is joining us. She's Miss Mdyesha.
Hey!
Oh, all right, ladies and gents, there you have it. The lady of the moment. Hey,
Oh my goodness.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm so sorry I'm late.
Nah, don't worry about it. We were going to wait until you arrive. I mean, we do understand a lady of your caliber, I'm sure the time that she has on the side is quite slim, you understand me?
I was actually just having dinner.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the people are joining us, thank you very much for joining us on Lockdown Convos with Coach Time. And as you can see on the screen, we have none other than the lady of the moment, Womonja Vibes, bro. We've been dedicating this week, the whole week actually, to the women. Ladies and gentlemen, in your screens, Miss Naledi Mdyesha. You understand me? That's what I'm talking about. Now, just how are you doing though? How's the lockdown treating you?
I'm busy, hey, quite busy. I mean, work is crazy, the hustles are crazy, my drive has been keeping me super busy. So I don't really feel it during the week because my weeks are quite busy. Weekends then are slow, then just hanging out with family. But it's been good. It's been very good.
Oh, that's good stuff. As long as you've been keeping safe. As remember, guys, you have to stay safe. You understand me? Stay safe. Fuck out your mask, my bro. Now, just quick, just a quick bio for those people who are just joining us now who might be wondering, who is this phenomenal lady in our screens right now? Well, she is Naledi Mdyesha, you understand me? Born in Umtata, but raised in King Williamstown, another one from King Willie, and also a product of Kingsridge High School for Girls, or formerly known as KHS. And also you can see by her statue that she's a sportswoman as well. She's also been involved in netball, starting netball from a tender age since primary school, and also played first team since grade 9. Tabanga was my grade. And also
only because they wouldn't let me play in grade 8. Apparently I was too young.
Yeah. So it shows that she can be 150 caps. Go for man, was a Kingfish. Yeah, well, so she also played a matric netball as well. She captained the side of matric. Also played provincial at the age of 13 up to matric. So she's been representing high levels and also represented border and Amatola municipality. Goodness gracious. Then she ended up in UJ 2009 where she played first team. Hey, first year, imagine only fresh, so the first team. Masters still cracking first team. Goodness gracious. Right. So, and also just making short as well, she's also a shareholder and a business partner for the East London Tens and has a major influence behind the initiative behind that. But we'll get into detail about that. But before we get into the gist of things, just quickly, before we just discuss the Tens, where did your passion for sport actually begin? Like who influenced you? Who's behind that?
My grandfather actually is behind it. He's behind quite a lot of passions of mine, actually. He was a radio sports presenter back in the day.
Imagine.
He was a sports presenter back in the day. He had a strong passion for rugby and tennis, quite frankly. So I grew up with my parents playing tennis, my aunts, my uncles. It was a sport like so many pictures of them all in with like tennis rackets in their hands or on the rugby field. So it started from there, you know. So the woman who gave birth to me, my beautiful mother, was a very strong sports supporter. She was one of the senior executives actually in the netball fraternity in the Eastern Cape. So, I mean, you can imagine, I don't think I had a choice, quite frankly. I was born into a family of sport.
So you didn't have a choice the same way you didn't have a choice by joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Naledi
Give me
Mdyesha.
my
Just a quick
choice.
just a quick side note, she was a bit shy in joining us this evening, but she was but I had to convince her to join us. Now, just quickly, you were telling us about Utamkhulu wako. Is he the
Yes.
great Umanwabisi Mdyesha? Is that your uncle?
No, no, no. So Mdyesha is my uncle actually. So his father was my grandfather.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you know his history, if you know rugby, you know Mdyesha all the way back from when he was at Graham College.
Oh.
You know, right through to being Ifly half years Springboks. I mean, I silently, because I am quite much younger than him, I silently followed him around. I never really communicated much about sport with him when I was younger. But now, every weekend, I'm so sad now that we got Super Rugby and all of that. Hopefully the Curry Cup will get. But now, the older that I am, we know if there's a game, and fortunately, we both favor the Sharks. So if the Sharks are playing on a Saturday, it's me and him. We're like conversing on WhatsApp, talking rugby. I've learned so much from him. It's absolutely incredible.
No, that's great stuff. And also I can see that he's also had a huge influence as well in terms of your sport. Not only has he inspired you, but also motivated you and pushed you as well during your high school years.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's so weird. My love for netball was very strange. Because I think
Yeah.
most sports players, you know, there's always that one sport that you play. And I played hockey in primary school, quite frankly. I didn't play netball at all. I got
Yeah.
hurt and still have quite a deep cut on the inside of my mouth
Ooh.
now. When
Mm.
I was, I think, 13 in grade 7, when a girl
Yeah.
slammed her hockey stick into my face, my lip was
Yeah.
literally stuck in between my teeth. And that was that day
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not sure about hockey anymore. Let's try
Mm.
some football and see how this goes. 13-year-old me, obviously I was quite skinny and tall, so the teachers were absolutely happy to have me
Yeah.
and to train me. So 13 years old, I started playing netball. Same year, I made provincials.
Yeah.
So
Levels.
from there onwards, where I just, you know, the love just ignited.
Oh, that's great stuff. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
So we can see that from a very young age, from a, from a very young age, you've been very, very active in sports, and you can see the comments are starting to come in. But just
And I
tell us.
know why she's saying that. Can I just tell you? There's always been banter between the hockey and the netball girls, and the one sport thinking the other one is more aggressive than the other. That's why she's saying I was soft because she was a hockey player.
That's the beauty of sport as well. That's the beauty of sport.
Yeah.
Now, just quickly, lastly, in high school, you're telling us about how active you were in sports as well. But in terms of Naledi Mdyesha, how was Naledi Mdyesha in school? Because, I mean, the first time I saw you, I was like, yo, just make sure you don't step on her toes, man. You understand me? Just stick to your lane. Just do what you gotta do and carry on with life.
You know, it's so crazy because when people see a tall girl, and it's not, you know, it's not a common thing, right, to be as tall as I am. So when people see me, they're always like, "Oh my God, don't mess with that girl. She will literally beat you up." And I am the softest person you'll ever find. If there's a fight around me, I don't want to be there at all. Yeah, but you know, high school was great. High school was absolutely amazing. I was a teacher child, so my mother taught at my high school at KHS. She was a Xhosa and a maths teacher there.
Yeah.
So typically I had to behave like books, sport. I was the type that when the bell goes off at 1:45, school is out, I had to make sure my homework was done before netball practice. Because not only was she a teacher at the school, she was also my first team netball coach. So I had to make sure I get to practice. First thing she asks me is your homework done? Silently, so that the team doesn't hear anything. If I say no, she's pushing me harder than she's ever pushed me that day. So typical, you know, teacher's child, I had to behave at school. But I was also very sociable, you know, I loved sports. So I made friends with a lot of people. I made friends with, you know, the guys at Dale College, at the brother school to the sister school I went to. And my mother was quite young, so being strict at school, but, you know, being open to me having a social life. So I was very sociable. with a lot of people. I got along with everyone. So yeah, all I did, man, was go to school, play sport, hang out with the gents.
Yeah.
I was the rose amongst the thorns.
Yeah, no, that's and then at the end you become this rose that you are as well. Also a huge thing, an integral part in the
Yeah.
sport as well. Now, just quickly, seeing that now you went to UJ, and then
Yeah.
you had to change. You had to stop playing netball for some time. Tell us what happened. What was the cause of that?
Sure. So it was one of the most painful decisions of my life.
Hmm.
I had gone to UJ to study law. I was doing an LLB
Yeah.
degree. I obviously went to trials when the year started. I made the first team, and it was super, super, super intense. I mean,
Yeah.
we had 5 a.m. sessions at the gym on campus. We
Yeah.
had 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 3-hour sessions on court,
Oof.
same afternoon. So it was very difficult to balance both my degree and school. So, I mean, obviously, it was showing in my results. And I was on a sports scholarship, so I
Yeah.
had to focus on the sport and not just focus on the academics as well, only.
Yeah.
The sad thing is during my time, sports took priority at the university I went to. So if I had a test and we had trials or we had a game, my tests were either pushed or I had to write a test in my lecturer's office because we had sports. So
Yeah.
we needed to go play the game, then move your tests around so you can understand the focus that was there in terms of sport at UJ during that time. So it showed in my grades. And my parents and my grandmother sat me down and they said, you need to decide what you want to do with your life. We don't think netball is going to work. And of course, I mean, now obviously it's better, but back in 2008, it wasn't great. It couldn't be all you did. You couldn't just be a netball player and that's how you
Yeah.
survive for the rest of your life. And my parents were very strict when it came to that. So eventually I had to stop. Literally just dropped out of the team. My coach was absolutely devastated. I was coached by a woman called Elsha then. I had to drop out, but then dropping out of the team meant I was dropping out of a scholarship as well. So my bursary was gone. I moved out of the sports house.
Yeah.
It was life changing. It was life changing. So I stopped. I stopped playing for about 3-4 years in order
Yeah.
to finish my degree. But as
Yeah.
soon as I finished my articles, I started playing socially again. By then, I thought it was too late to even attempt a professional career. And plus,
Yeah.
I mean, being an attorney, I didn't have time to play tournaments on Saturdays anyways because I was working. So yeah, that's my experience at UJ. It was, I mean, a great,
Yeah.
almost great season with my team. I played with a lot of fantastic girls who played in the pro team now. So
Yeah.
good times. It was good times. Sad
Yeah,
times,
but
but
yeah, but then again, even though we might not like what have happened in the past, but we do learn from it and we do grow from it.
yeah,
Sometimes things do happen for a reason, even though it sounds cliche, but it is the truth. You understand?
correct.
Because now, seeing that your netball career, if I can put it in a way as to say that it was put on hold or just stopped by
That's
parents. So
it.
maybe the parents, but then the parents as well, for them, they might have thought that in time they might be doing something right for you, But
Of
then at the
course.
time as well, you saw yourself having a future or a career rather in netball.
Mm.
But then now look at you graduating with Goeta. So in case something happens, don't worry, y'all. Miss Mdyesha's got my back. Understand me?
You're
So
covered.
just tell us now, do you regret that decision?
No, I don't. I don't regret it at all. I think it's a part of my growth. It was a part of
Yeah,
my purpose. Um, as
yeah,
much as good of a netball player I was back then, it wasn't aligned with my purpose. It wasn't aligned with
yeah,
what God had in store for me.
yeah,
Of course, it was a very hard pill to swallow.
yeah,
Um, but I don't regret making that decision at all because I don't know where I would be. So I can't quite regret something that I don't know. I couldn't see into the future then. I
yeah.
can't see into the future now. But I mean, I finished my degree. I did my articles. I was a practicing attorney for years. I'm in corporate now. I
Yeah,
get to
boy.
do
Yes.
sports and
Yeah.
work and be in business. So it made me who I am. It never took it didn't take my love for sport away.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful stuff. That's great stuff. No, I take my hat off to you. Okay, my hat off. I'm taking it off to you for being an inspiration as well. You know, I mean, you can just tell by the expression on your face that it is quite deep. But then again, you grow from it, you mature from it, and then you're still a
Yeah.
successful. You're a tycoon. I mean, look at you. You so, I
I hope I
mean,
do.
so much power. You understand me? So just quickly. Also, now just on your, you had a coaching stint as well at high school. Just tell us about that.
Yeah.
How was it, and what made you do that?
Sure. So I coached at a school called King David. It's a Jewish school in Victory Park here in Johannesburg. Throughout my degree, from when I started right through to when I finished, I
Yeah,
remember the last day I finished coaching my girls because I'd finished my degree and I was leaving university
yeah.
to go into the working world the next year. We were so sad. I mean, even their parents were crying. I'd never gotten so many gifts in my life. I literally had, I'm not even kidding you, tons and tons of vouchers from Woolies. Dimazela get Woolies as a fourth year student. That's why I was
Quite
buying my
coincidentally,
groceries
but that's
at
called loud.
Woolies, child. Yeah, I coached them. I coached the first team and the under 13s actually at that time. And I did swimming with grade ones.
Yo,
Very
yeah.
eventful time. Imagine having 15 grade ones in one swimming pool.
That is, yo,
If I
gosh.
didn't learn patience then, I never will.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. So now, just moving along from what you're doing right now, we're just quickly going to discuss the teams quickly as well. But then now, see that we
Sure.
go back to the fact that you were coaching high school as well. Tell me, we can connect when I'm coming in the future. I can grab one school, maybe do it professionally.
Ooh, it was never going to work. I mean, it sounded like a great idea, but I was never going to be able to do both. I was never going to be able
Yeah,
to work and also coach at the same time because when you're coaching a team,
it's
you
time.
are one with them. You need to be absolutely involved in everything that they do.
Yeah,
So capacity-wise, it was never going to work for me.
yeah.
I'm not saying I would never. If
Mm.
one day I stop being an employee, which is coming very soon, and I work for
Yo.
myself, I might just go back to coaching.
Mm. I'm not gonna lie. All in good time. If it's God's plan, and nobody's gonna stop it. Yeah, but
Exactly.
so now the tens. We were just during the intro. We spoke about the fact that you're also part of the tens as well. And also, I remember that the first show that we had on Lockdown Convos with Coach Team, we had Teram Tembu, and he gave us a detailed explanation as to how everything came about. And I'm also aware of the fact that you're also a stakeholder in the East London Tens. Tell us how that came into play.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, without having to repeat Tara's story that day, because he told it quite well.
Yeah,
Um, they came up with the idea, Utera, Oscar, and Olifa,
yeah,
that they wanted to do this in East London, but then they
yeah,
realized that they needed female presence. They realized that they needed somebody who is a woman, one who loves sport too, and who can
yeah,
oversee the facilitation of the netball, because
yeah.
obviously they are strong on the rugby side and not necessarily on the netball side. And you know, uThixo Mkhulu, they thought of me. So
Hallelujah! Praise the
they
Lord!
thought of me, their homegirl from King Williamstown. So Oliver called me and he was like, friend, I've got a great opportunity. And it helps that we're such good mates as well, you know. So the transition was easy. It was absolutely easy for me to accept because I know them, I know their work ethic, I know the type of people that they are. So when he approached me, he said, we need you. Would you be keen to, open a company with us? We'll have equal shareholding or whatever. Let's do this. Let's run the East London event. It'll be the first of its kind, and we would love for you to be a part of that legacy. I
Yeah.
was super excited. I promise you, I probably started working on that day. On that day, I was on my laptop. I was with Ulifan. I spoke like hours, 2 hours a day at times, putting together the event was very hard. It wasn't easy. Facilitating the netball, I mean, I was excited that so many teams from the Eastern Cape were approaching, wanting to play. So many umpires were calling saying, hey, we hear you guys are doing this. We'd love to help out with umpiring. Just facilitating the whole day, creating fixture lists with the team. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work, but something I committed myself to, because if you can't see the dream of how big East London Tens is going to be, I don't know what it will take to show you. And to be a part of it from the onset and watch it grow, and one day we'll hand it over to other people to do, and we'll just watch this amazing thing grow that we created, that touches people using sport. My goodness, what else? What else does one need?
Yeah, that's actually very true as well. Because I mean, last year was the first time it happened. It turned out to be a major success, despite the weather as well. But then sometimes there's also a silver lining under a dark cloud. When you start to rain, everyone just flocked in the tent, and then just turned out to be a hectic groove. You understand?
Yeah, it was a big party.
Blessings. And also this year, I'm going to speak it into existence that this year the tens are happening. I'm speaking it into existence. They need to happen. They need to happen. It's all going to get bigger and better as well.
We are super hopeful. We haven't stopped working. Our planning is going ahead as usual. Running our meetings, we're talking to each other, we're sharing ideas, plans are in place. We're excited. God willing, it happens. It's going to be amazing.
Praise the Lord. It's going to happen. Praise the Lord. So now, seeing that now you're working with the tens, how is that giving you experience? In terms, because I can see that you have a dream of working in sport. How is the experience in the tens helping you with that dream?
Wow, it's actually opened my eyes so much more. It's made me realize that it's not a dream that's far-fetched. It's a dream that's absolutely attainable. And that's one of the important lessons that I've learned from East London Tens. It's also helped me identify what area of sports I'd like to work in. And it is sports events, putting together events such as the East London Tens, putting together, most importantly, development clinics that are grooming young kids from the Eastern Cape to be the best they can be in sport, helping them understand that it's not just about sport sometimes, and you need to also focus on your schoolwork. And it's okay if you're not as great as you think you are as a player. It doesn't mean you can't work in the sports industry just because you're not good enough to make a certain union or not good enough to be a Springbok. We're all destined. Our purpose is different within the sports fraternity. Some of us are not built to be players, and we're not destined to be players, but we're destined to make a difference in the background. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah, I mean, that's very inspirational as well. And if there are people watching right now who might have felt that they've got nothing else to offer when they don't get that contract, no. It's not ending there. You understand? It's not ending there. Sometimes we have to think out of the box and think, how exactly can I change myself within what I'm passionate about? I mean, at the end of the day, you can't just throw in the towels when things don't go your way. You understand?
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of the tens, you were playing this year in the Cape Town Tens, where I was also afforded the opportunity.
My old bones goes down.
And also you were playing there as well, and I was also honored to have been invited to join there, and I had the time of my life. Yo, guys, dog up!
An amazing time in Cape Town, I tell you. Watch London 10 get bigger.
Bro, I got there, when I got there. Yeah, because I mean, I remember when I got there, I'm like, I saw Greenpoint Stadium, I was like, and then I saw the fields. I'm like, this is clean smart, So I was like, there's the beach.
Just the ambiance.
The ambiance. You understand me? It's the ambiance. They better believe that. So that's the word of the day, the ambiance. No, just quickly. Speaking about the tens, like I was saying, that you had a team there. You guys were playing Border Angels. So How was that for you guys? Because I mean, you guys have been participating in the Cape Town Tens for the past 3 seasons, and this year you guys won
Yes.
it. April.
Yeah. So, wow, the Border Angels is a team I created. How it started was at the Johannesburg All Boys 10 tournaments, actually.
Yeah,
I decided to put together a team of girls that I thought were fantastic netball players in my high
yeah,
school years, from different schools, but within the border region.
yeah,
Girls that I played provincials with, girls that I played border with. I identified them from the different schools. Like, just even as a first team netball player myself, there's always that one strong ass team that always either that's so difficult to beat, or you're always
yeah.
losing to. So I sat down, I wrote down a list, and I created a list of netball players that I thought were great in my time that were based in the border region. Sadly, a lot of them weren't available to play because now they're older, some have kids, they don't
Yeah.
have capacity to play. So I ended up having to broaden the spectrum of the team into the Eastern Cape. So I had some girls
Yeah.
from EP, playing in the team, girls that were in PE, at LX. So we put together a team. We were
Yeah.
mates. We
Love
were
that.
rivals in high school. We had absolutely no relationship in high school. We were rivals.
Yeah.
We were absolute rivals. We created a team, managed to raise funds through a quiz. We got a kit done. We ended up going to Cape Town. Our first year, we had a good start. We had a good start. We had 6 games in total.
Yeah.
We won 5 and only lost 1, but because we lost that 1, it bumped us down from cup final to plate final.
Mm.
Uh, so that was our first year. This year, we went back with a vengeance. We were ready. We were training.
Oh,
We wanted to get things done. And man, from the start of the tournament, the girls gave everything. Nothing could stop
yeah.
us. We were towing those teams left, right, and center,
Woo!
right in the final. Our final score wasn't close either, actually. I think we won like 21-13. We were meaning business this year.
Oh,
And it was such a fantastic time. I'm so excited to still be playing with my team. And we love netball. We've loved netball. Now we're like complete sisters. We're so close from being absolute rivals in high school to having such a close-knit circle
yeah.
of a team. It's amazing. We play action netball together on Mondays as well.
Oh, that's great stuff. And it's also not sport is not only competitive, it's not only social, but sport also builds bridges as well. I mean, people get business deals during sport, people get jobs
Correct.
during sport, people get opportunities during sport. So I mean, sport is not just a game, it's a lifestyle, you understand me? So
Yeah.
that's why the
Yeah.
importance of sport has to be emphasized each and every time. Now, you
Mm.
were telling us about your kit. Now, I am
Yeah.
aware there's significance in how you guys designed your kit this year.
Yes.
So you guys had faces of women who have been
Yeah.
subject to gender-based violence. Just explain to us as to how exactly did that come into play?
Okay, so every year we try and make our dresses special. So I know
Hmm.
Cape Town Tales is such a fun event. Everyone is just about making a fun dress. We decided to do something different. We wanted to commemorate something through our dresses and not just us being there to play netball.
Yeah.
In the first year, we actually did, it was, I think, we were inspired by Black Panther and how Black people had come together. You know how everyone just dressed up to go and watch that movie. Everyone was in their, African regalia. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. Well, our first dress was inspired by that. Our dress this year, though, was definitely a winner. Because of everything that's going on in our country on, gender-based violence and all the girls that were going missing, we all see it on Twitter, the girls that had died, the likes of Win and Mkhoitana, we decided, you know what? We want to do a dress. We were actually inspired by a dress that was done by Unomza Mombasa for her graduation, where she had, faces of people that were close to her that she had lost on the dress. So we did that. We created an amazing, amazing dress. It's absolutely stunning. Where we put the faces of the girls on our dress. We had stop gender-based violence written on our dress, and it had the border colors, so it was even more special for us. So we try and, get some culture into it more than just playing the sport. So making our dress is something that's absolutely important to us. In the first year, we actually won Best Dressed, but this year we didn't. but we got a lot of compliments and a lot of attention for the idea of coming up with those dresses. The team came together. None of us are creatives. We were drawing sketches that was absolutely shady. But the guys that do the actual, digitalizing of your dresses when they're going to print the stuff are fantastic. I think Mike Sports, those guys brought our dress in like to life. It was absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, truly inspirational. And just going back to what you were saying now, that you guys never won our Best Dressed award. But it doesn't matter. You guys won the entire thing. You understand me?
Oh, yeah.
You guys won the entire thing. That's why you guys were there, to win the tournament. That's what you guys got here. You understand me? Yeah. And also the message that you guys wanted to portray, the message was sent. So you won twice. You understand me? You won twice. You won the people's hearts, and you captivated the hearts. You understand me? I remember I was so captivated, I had to get my asthma pump. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so deep. So also kudos to you. It was a great initiative. Because of the fact that there was a troubled time in the country. Well, it hasn't ended. It still happens right now, And I just hope that what we're talking about right now does filter through people's ears across the country in terms of more, especially to the men. You understand me? Just to stop doing what they're doing as well. Because at the end of the day, they don't win anything, but they're making our loved ones an endangered species. That can't happen. It needs to stop. Men, it has to stop. It has to stop, gents. It has to stop. So just tell us now how that has affected women in sport, because I beg your pardon now, the name of this other boxer in East London who was shot by her boyfriend. How is that affecting sport?
You know what? I think not specifically sport, but it affects everything, every sphere of our being, and it doesn't only just affect women, it affects men. It's very sad that when you are a female boxer, you're not just seen as a competitive sportswoman. You're not seen how you're supposed to be seen. You're seen as, now you think you're dominant. Now you think you're strong because you can throw a right punch. Now you think you're this. And a man that suffers from fragile masculinity or whatever he's going through will be intimidated by the strength of that woman and end up shooting and killing that woman, like what happened to that lady. I forget her name, but I know her exactly. It's very sad, it's very sad that we have to, consider dimming our light in the sporting fraternity just to, show that we're not trying to make ourselves more superior than men. It's absolutely unfortunate that there are people that are sick out there that think like that. And, condolences to that poor girl's family. She really didn't deserve to die like that. And I know the boxing world will remember her for a very long time.
Definitely. And you also will remember all of those we have lost during the tragic times. All right. Yeah. But speaking of tens, just moving on from the very sensitive stuff. It's getting somebody's chopping onions over here. Somebody's chopping onions. I don't know who's cooking over here or some. You know who's cooking over here? I'm cooking over here in my studio. So just now, the tens. What's next for the tens? The East London tens. What should you expect this year?
This year. Obviously we learned a lot from last year. We ran an amazing survey where we circulated it, and people were very honest in their positive criticism to us on things that can help us do better, and we appreciate those so much. So this year we definitely plan to be much bigger. We are putting plans in place to have more teams sign up this year. And as you know, last year it was a 1-day event. So this year it's a 2-day event, meaning we'll have games on the Friday and that Saturday. And that will help us 18th and 19th of December. That will obviously help us then with managing time. Because last year we did battle a lot with times and games running over. It can accommodate more and more teams, joining, because I know we have to cap the number. So there were quite a lot of teams, especially for rugby, that wanted to play that couldn't play because we had probably reached a certain number. So we want to expand that. We want to give everyone an opportunity to be able to participate. The nice thing about this year is it's going to be so massive that there's a lot of things we're considering. We're going to have a 6-kilometer run that morning for the runners in East London. involve them as well. It's quite a big culture in East London, actually. If you wake up early in the morning, Emonto, you will see people jogging everywhere.
Hi, quick.
People of all sorts of colors. I tell you, everyone runs Emonto, literally. So we're gonna do that, on the morning of I think Saturday morning. We'll have a 6 kilometer run. We're also including considering possibly including some female rugby to take part as well, because I'm very big on participation. So it's gonna be amazing. We're catering rather for bigger numbers, obviously, this year. And I think, this pandemic that's, destroying our country as it stands could work in our favor as Island
Yeah,
intends.
definitely,
Because
definitely.
we get to December and the lockdown is lifted to a stage where we can have such an event of that magnitude. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to serve the purpose of not only watching live sport after such a long time,
No,
it's going to be a reunion. It's going to be a vibe. You're going to want to be there. You know what I mean?
ambiance.
Artists there entertaining you left, right, and center. We're getting a bigger beer tent. We're going to have a VIP area that people can sit there if they want to sit there and want that type of ticket. It is going to be massive. The clinic, we want it to be absolutely big as well. We're going to get some really awesome names to come and join us. We're super excited to have, the likes of Lucanyo Umagazole Mampimpi, Uskumbuzo Nozo, Fasi. They love that event. Like, they've
Yeah.
asked me, like, some of them have asked me from the beginning of the year, but hey, what are the dates for Iceland Chains? We need to make sure our because they're so excited about being involved in the event and being involved, most importantly, in the development side, where they get to interact and coach kids and groom them. And we want to get that bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and hopefully assist kids get into certain schools that will help them with the resources they might not have, because they're coming from a poor environment. So there's a lot to expect from East London Tens. I can tell you right now, from a live sports perspective, you want to be there. You want to sign up your team. Even if it's old college boys, you put together a squad from back in the day and you guys come. It's going to be a homecoming, a reunion. Yeah, look, I get so excited. I literally get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Oh, that's great stuff. We can see the passion behind the organization of this great event, which will become one of the greatest events in East London during that particular period. Yeah, definitely as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few more minutes left with the lady of the evening, of Ms. Mdyesha. If you guys might have any questions for her regarding sport or business, feel free to ask questions in a few more minutes.
I actually did see a question where someone was asking about age group.
Yes.
Unfortunately, for now, we're sticking to 18 and above. It's very difficult to monitor the youngsters playing against, an older guy or an older lady who's more experienced than the netball court. We're not saying they're strong enough. We're not saying they aren't deserving to play at East London Tens, but they may just be too young. On the netball side, it is easier to play with older folk because it's not as an aggressive sport as rugby. But I mean, rugby doesn't work. Imagine a 16-year-old playing against a guy as big as Utera, for example. I mean, it's unnecessary for the child's confidence as well. Umntu makadlale ne-age group yakhe. So as time grows, hopefully we'll expand and be bigger and bigger, and even consider a tens that's specifically just for the youngsters, or that involves the youngsters. Maybe on the one day we have under 11s, under 12s, and under 13, 10s, whatever. But I mean, it's a start. We're growing, so anything is possible.
No, that's great stuff. It's all about growth. It's all about growth. Just one more before I let you go for the people who might have some questions. I'd like to believe that tomorrow is your birthday because there was this initiative that you created. Tell us about that initiative that you're creating for your birthday, and also just quickly, if there are people who might need some tips in terms of sports and business in sports.
Okay, sure. So firstly, your first part of your question. My birthday is next week, Wednesday, on the 27th. I'm actually turning 30. the big 3-0. So obviously the plans were to have a massive party. My family and I were super excited, planning something big. But because of COVID, we couldn't do that. So I decided that, some of the money that I had saved for that event, I would put towards a drive. And I then, uh, put out a plea to people, my friends, my family, to assist where they can with donations. So what I'm doing is there's a certain area, an informal settlement in Johannesburg called Clay Oven, on Witkoppen Road. Excuse me, I've identified the women and young girls in that area, and there's about 100 for them. I'm putting together care packages for them with sanitary towels, soap, washing rags, roll-ons, lotions, just for them to, also feel good, to be able to bath, to be able to smell nice, to be able to have sanitary towels when it's that time of the month, because a lot of women that live in that area work on piece jobs. And with the pandemic, none of them are working and no money is coming in. So I decided that with, looking at the pandemic and a lot of people providing food, I would do, care packages for women and young girls in that area. So that's what I'm doing. I'm delivering the packages on the morning of my birthday, which is the 27th. I'll put it up on my social media. My handle is actually Lebu_licious. My second name is Lebuhang. So if people want to know and want to support, please pop onto my page. You will see my post there. It's got banking details. Even if you send me 50 Rand, trust me, it goes a long way to helping a young woman out there feel like a woman and feel clean and feel, hygiene is something that's super, super important for us as women. And it's not important just for us that can afford. I want to be able to give that to those that cannot afford. So I'm hoping to be able to buy them a supply of at least a month, 2 months, or maybe even 3 months, depending on how much I have in the kitty as it stands. But it's been great. We've had amazing support. I'm currently sitting on, I think, 32,000 Rand raised in the past few days. So that's been absolutely fantastic. On the sports side,
yeah.
on the sports side, I think the one thing I can say is that your love for sport. You know what it is that burns inside of you for sport. Whether it's netball, whether it's rugby, whether it's hockey, whether it's golf, whether it's gaming, whatever type of sport there is out there you love, you can participate in. I want people and young people that are interested to try and build a career or be involved somehow in sport to consider other avenues and not just being actively as a player on the team. It's not meant for all of us. Some of us are just meant to, be in the background, organize everything, but still working within the fraternity. Some of us are destined to broadcast like the amazing Mdyesha. Everyone has a different purpose. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space within the sports fraternity for all of us. If you identify what it is that you want, map it down. One of the things I enjoy doing is writing. So I always have a book. When I have an idea, I write it down. I write down what I think I want from it, how I need to move to get it. I've got a plan in place and I work towards that. I have these small victories that come one by one, like being interviewed by Coach Tibo on Instagram Live. That I'm reaching every day. So do not give up on your love for sport and being involved in sport because you aren't a player. Speak to the right people, get the right mentoring, find people that are in the space and sport that you want to be in. Be inspired by them, learn from them, and grow. That's all. Don't let go of your love for sport because you cannot actively be in front of a camera or on the field. It doesn't end there. There's a lot that needs to happen within sport. There's a lot that needs to happen with sport from a transformation perspective. If you think you can add value, speak to the right people. Do not doubt your dreams.
Oh, yes, like, can somebody just snap their fingers real quick? Pow! 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 Yes, like! Okay, anything up in this love chat? What?
I'm so in love with sport. I get emotional just talking about it.
That is incredible. That is phenomenal. And that's just like I just saw my hearing you speak. I just saw my future. Like yes, like I can see what you're talking about. You understand?
You've got what it takes.
Yeah, you appreciate that. I mean, that's very inspirational as well. You know, and there was a question here from one of our close mates, a Lift Dog, saying that in 2023 in Netball South Africa, well, there'll be a Netball World Cup in South Africa.
My God.
Do you see yourself being part of the administration there or being part of it, basically?
I don't know about being a part of the administration as yet. Of course, it's something that imagine we're hosting the World Cup. Who would not want to be a part of it? Who would not want to have a hand in it in any way? You know, so I'm mapping, like I said, I'm mapping out my future. I want to be involved. Obviously, if I can be involved to a point where I'm doing something hands-on, that would make my entire life, literally. But if I can just be there and support our girls, I will. I know it's hilarious because it's 2020 and I've already told my boss that I'm taking 2 weeks off in 2023. I don't even know if I'll be working for the same company, but she already knows that in 2023 for 2 weeks, I am unavailable because I'm going to be in Cape Town.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting there and I'm going to be cheering the girls on. Wow, what an exciting time. What an exciting time. I'm working on being involved when I said I don't quite know as what yet.
Yeah.
But it's a part of my plan. It's one of the things I pray for. And, you know, if it's for me, God will open those doors.
Praise the Lord. Speak into existence. The universe is listening. The universe is waiting for us to open our mouths because our tongues are very powerful. Our tongues can construct and our tongues can destruct. Use your tongue proactively. Make sure that whatever you speak is positive so that the universe can be in sync with your thoughts and your soul so that your destiny can be prevailed. It sounds difficult, but if you continue to do it every day, trust me.
Put in the work. You have to put in the work. Nothing comes to you easy.
All right, so we can see here as well. We just past the energy. We can see that starting a campaign, and Naledi for president of Netball SA. Let's make it a trend.
That guy, I can really move my arms today because of AK Fitness.
Right.
His aerobics classes on here are absolutely amazing.
Special shout out to AK Fitness. I'll be joining real soon. I'm just sorting my soul out.
Join us. You won't regret it. It's so hard, but it's amazing.
It's amazing. Looking at the videos. Because I've been looking at the videos. I see y'all's videos on the stories. Not going to pay me down like, I don't want to feel like But y'all definitely now kudos to AK Fitness, kudos to 10 series. We see you. We see you active on the comments. We see you guys. Special shout out to you guys. Special shout out to you guys watching as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to this segment of Lockdown Convos with Coach Timmy, where this week was specially dedicated to the women in sport, in the sport production, women and business, empowering women in our sports. You understand me? So, I mean, at the end of the day, they are equally as important as each and every one, actually. You understand? Because we can't work without the other. You understand me? Together.
Correct.
You understand me? You can't go in the bathroom, you open the tap, you wash your hand with one hand, you need the other hand. You understand me? So, it's important. But Ms. Mdyesha, thank you very much for joining us on this segment. You made it truly, truly special. How lucky am I? Interviewing friends this week. On Tuesday, we had Mosisi Hono. And then on Friday, we have Ms. Mdyesha. This week has been a powerful week. This week has been a phenomenal week. This week has been filled with empowerment and inspiration throughout. Thank you very much for joining us this week. And thank you to you guys for tuning in. And any last words?
Thank you so much to you, Sesetu. Thank you so much for having me on your live. I think you're a force to be reckoned with. Great things are coming your way. Don't stop doing what you're doing. You have what it takes. I've seen what you can do. I've seen it at East London 10s. I've seen it at the Cape Town 10s. This is just a shout out to you, you know, to keep going and keep fighting the good fight, man. Your day is coming.
You have to say it now. You have to say it now. You have to say it now. You have to say it. You have to say it. You have to keep it going. You have to say
Keep
it.
it going, keep it flowing like the water.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Naledi. That means a lot.
You're
Thank you very
absolutely
much. I mean, when
welcome.
people like you, I mean, I'm increased by you guys, and I do look up to you guys' work because that's where I also see myself as being in. But thank you very much for your support, and thank you once again for joining us. And we should do this again in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
Naledi.
Thank you for everyone that was here.
We'll check you
Cheers.
later. Good evening.
Bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this week's segment of Lockdown Convos with Coach Time. But guess what? We're not done. Next week, you have no idea what's about to happen next week. You understand me? You have no idea. So next week, we're just mixing things up. You understand me? Now, sport, motivation, and entertainment. What could that mean? Tune in next week on Tuesday. Lockdown Convos with Coach Sport and Motivation. Coach Time out.